I am Santos Soto, I'm Mexican. I am an extreme poverty survivor. And this is my first time actually talking about things that are me, like real me. I struggled so much trying to make people like me that I always mask myself to reflect what they want. And I do it. So I become a people pleaser only because I want them to like me. And haven't been an easy path because I grew up in this family where, without a father at all. He wasn't never there. My parents never went together. They never been together. My mom was military, so she was never at home. Then she had another partners, and they were not at home never. So I was grew up by my grandma and by my aunt. But they raised me. The thing is, I never feel part of anything. I always feel like I am alone by myself in the world, which is true. At the end, we all wanna die alone, but at least some people have people who cry for them. It's sad because I actually don't believe in anything. I don't believe in nothing, and sometimes I don't even believe in myself, that's why actually the first reason of why I'm doing this, I wanna be authentic, I wanna be real, and I wanna show the world to whoever wanna see this, that Santos is like this, and it's okay. You know what is worth? It's okay being like this. I don't need to hide anything, because if people likes me, it needs to be for how I am all the time, normally, not how I pretend to be. Because sometimes you have this different group of friends, and then you behave in a certain ways, depending with which friends you are, or at least I do that, and it's just weird. When I get to be myself, or why am I so afraid to be myself? And it's because maybe in some point, people told me that what's wrong with what I was doing. So I come from this very extreme poverty background.
So what was your first job?
Selling food in the street, tamales with mi abuelita.
How old were you?
You right?
How old were you?
6, 7, I think so. That's when I start helping her. She always was working for us, always. She was the one who always said, she break her back every day working, literally. She slept midnight making the tamales, waking up at 3, 4 a.m. to put them to cook from a lot of hours, steamed, smoking charcoal and burned wood, all the smoke. Weirdly enough, she never had lung cancer or anything. Her lungs are totally well. So I don't know why people think cooking with charcoal all the time is bad for you. My grandma says that's not a problem for her. I left my house when I was 18. I went through many difficulties when I was a kid. It's funny enough, I have always been extremely good at school. One, because my aunt used to pressure me so much to be good at school. And that was my thing, being clever, being always 10, because in Mexico you calculate 1 to 10. And with 5 being you didn't pass, 6 is okay, you barely pass. And that's what I think the first thing that I did in order to make my grandma or my auntie happy.
You said earlier that you were working from the age of 6. Were you at what age did you go to school? When did you start learning?
Oh, at 6, I was in primary school, because I was in primary school in the evening, in the afternoons. So in the mornings, I went with my grandma. And then I used to sell flowers in the streets in Acapulco, outside of nightclubs. So imagine you go to Ibiza and you come out from these nightclubs, and it's this little kid of 10, 11 years old offering you flowers for you or your girlfriend and stuff. I used to do that. I used to work as a barman in after that, when I was 17, 18, because in Mexico, no one gave a shit. So, and at the same time, I was being good in the school. Then I have this extremely stupid idea. I met someone online on Messenger, and I was completely in love. I was the most romantic, in love boy in the world. And obviously she opened the door to many things to me, from sexual to this need to be loved, and she was pretty, but obviously like I was lacking for attention, I was lacking for approval, and she was giving me that. I don't know what she was looking for, but what I did is something extremely stupid. I leave my house. I traveled to the other side of the country in Mexico, from Acapulco to La Paz. I was 17 in that point. She told me she was 22, 23. And then when I arrived there, I realized she was 33. She has 3 kids, not young, quite not babies, like we were grown-ups almost. And she was a escort. So she was a prostitute.
An escort.
She was a prostitute.
Uh-huh.
I remember that I needed to stay in her house like for a week or something, or 2 weeks, because I went without money, without knowing anyone, and with a stupid suitcase that nothing fits on it. So I leave my house, my family, and everything because of that. I was extremely sad. I was super sad. I was scared. I was broken.
How did you recover from that?
I think I was my ego. My ego was a lifesaver for me in that point. Ego can be horrible to you, but at the same time, it's necessary. You cannot live without your ego, because otherwise the world will smash you and crash you down. So my mom told me, I'm gonna send you money to come back. And I knew she doesn't have any money. She's gonna obviously get it from somewhere and owing money, because my mom has this issue. She always falls in debt because we never got this financial education for anyone. We don't know how to use money. My grandma used to say having money was bad. Having money is bad because people get kidnapped. People who get money get robbed. That is what my grandma used to say. So we have this victim mentality all the time because we were poor people. And then I say to my mom, no, I have the balls to come here by myself without nothing. It's time to face the consequences, and I will face the consequences. That was as well extremely stupid. I was a stubborn 17 years old kid with the heart broken, in a place where the woman that you say to you love was picking up for the uncles of the kids every time, different one in different cars. So that was extremely traumatic. That is when my ego born in that point. And it was, I can do it. And I can do it. The first thing I did was walking from the coastline for 4 days in a row, knocking door by door by door by door until one of the place opened the door for me. Carlos and Charlie's restaurant next to a nightclub called La Paz Lapa. And you will maybe not believe that, but Mexico is an extremely racist and full of discrimination country. 90% of the population is brown and they only love and like white people. It's because we are very Americanized, so everything that is good is white. If you work in a bar...
Is that why you're with me?
Yeah, but I like white women, that's true, that's completely true. It can be something like that. I grew up like idolating this American culture too. The movies in Mexico, like it's always American. We don't have good cinema. We have 1 or 2 like movies every a few years that work. Like we have amazing directors. We have Iñárritu, Cuarón, Del Toro, but they are like new. When I grew up, like we didn't have like a good cinema. Oh, we have the old cinema, like the 50s and stuff, but I wasn't interested in that. I was a kid. Even in this place, when I got this job, I was the helper of the waiter. I remember I used to eat a lot only leftover from the clients, from other people. And I don't feel bad about that. I think something like everyone who works in a restaurant do that. You see that someone didn't eat properly his steak or his burgers, like that's quite untouched. Let's go for it. And sometimes we even fight to eat that kind of stuff in the kitchen. I was extremely abused for the staff. I was extremely abused for the manager, like insulting.
By the manager.
Well, yes, but
Not for the manager, by the manager.
by the managers. Yeah, I mean, I'm abused by you right now for correcting me. But yeah, he was like extremely abused. I'm a very good friend of his kids. They are grown ups now, and they say now that they said, no, my dad was an asshole with you. Like, I know, man, really, tell me about it. Then I moved to this little room. I remember I used to live in a room. Literally, I think our toilet now is bigger than that room. Like literally, that toilet is bigger than that room.
We have a pretty big bathroom.
It's a very big back room, but I mean, no one can live in that place. Well, you can, yeah, you can. You can see the...
Actually, I think that could be actually a decent single room. Actually, for London standards, you can make that into a double.
I mean, for London, that's a loft. For London, that's like a cozy Airbnb. Trust me, and if it's in Covent Garden, you can get it like for £300 or something, which is...
A night.
A night, no, of course a night. Everything in central London is fucking expensive. But, well, from there, I managed to get that job. I moved to this place. It's a very small room with this old lady who was the most horrible old lady in the world, like angry all the time, shouting at people. She made me
my God.
She made me fix one of the roof during a hurricane. Hurricane John, I remember. Was in the middle of hurricane. Oh, look, that piece of the roof is falling away. Go up and fix it. Like, why me? But I went up and fixed that in the middle of a hurricane. And like many things I have done in the middle of hurricanes. It's horrible. And then one of the clients, this is very interesting, one of the clients, they were the manager and the supervisor of the 3 biggest strip clubs in the city. And I always saw them coming to have dinner to the restaurant until one day and told them, like, what do you do with them? And they told me that they work in this strip club, who was literally around the corner of the restaurant. There's another 2 in the city. I was like, oh, we like to work there. Like, how are the tips? Sounds good. And then they start telling me, yeah, 1,000 pesos a night, maybe. And I was like, what? 1,000 pesos a night?
How much is 1,000 pesos?
Now it's 40 pounds in here. But there, that time, 1,000 pesos a night. The average salary was 3,000 pesos every 2 weeks in Mexico in the 2008. 2008. I'm old, man. I'm very old. And I quit to that job because I...
So you quit waitressing?
Yeah, well, I wasn't even a waitress there. A waiter.
Oh, sorry, yes.
I was the helper of the waiter. They call it garrotero. So I was helping the waiters. I moved to the other place and I was helping, and I was a waiter at that point. And I learned English. I knew a little bit of English, but I learned English too in the way of, like, I need to be able to communicate with the clients because most of the clients were Americans. So that if the Americans give tip, I need to be able to understand. And I become very good understanding American guys. Because there's this event called the Baja Mil, which is an off-road race with huge modified cars from Tijuana to Los Cabos. Completely off-road. It's like Dakar, but from the peninsula. It's internationally famous, and people goes with tons of money.
Can we go there?
But we're gonna be there actually, yeah, in December. And then I jump into uni. I remember because at this point I was technical. I have technical laboratorician, so I have all the qualifications to do that. But to be honest, that wasn't never my thing. And now I realized that talking was my thing. So I saw the uni. I was, what is the careers of things? Communication. I jumped into communication. I spent almost 4 years of uni working from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. and going to uni from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. I used to sleep in the car between classes, and I used to have a pillow and a blanket all the time. But that place is fucking hot sometimes, because in winter it's cool and in summer it's very hot. So I need to have it on with the aircon if it was possible. Some teachers hate me because I was always sleeping in class, because I was literally sleeping 3-4 hours a night. My only day off was Tuesdays, I remember. So I used to go out and party only Tuesdays, because I used to work the rest of the weekends at night. So all my friends were like, man.
Well, your friends used to go out.
Yeah, I was working.
And then your night will be Tuesday.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah. I was like, oh yeah, let's buy a bottle. Like, it's just me in the table, me in the bar completely. But I met very good friends in that way, and I remember I used to be in one corner reading all my notes and the books that in uni they give us notes, and it was like this. I used to pinch myself to not fall asleep. I was standing and falling asleep. I used to have a needle with me and I used to scratch my leg or scratch anything in order to not fall asleep. I used to drink Sedalmerc with whiskey and Sprite. So I used to have to be like super awake in order to read and keep working until the end of the shift. So I survived in that way in La Paz. And my ego was one of the big things that support me in that way. Was, I am the best, I am the best, I can do it, I am the best. And every time people come to me, yes, I can do that and more. Yes, I'm the best. Like, but inside I knew that I was lying to myself. Like, I am not the best. Like, you're alone here, alone from your family. You haven't seen your family in ages. You cannot find even a girlfriend that can like handle you. I used to be like a very prolific dating. I was a whore, let's say in that way. I was a men's slut. But not only because that was the way I found the validation. Being good at sex was my validation, you know? Like being everyone desired was my validation. I started going to the gym. I was always very people pleaser again. So I put this mask with different people trying to like them. And Christmas was one of the most complicated seasons for me because I was away from my family. Sometimes other families like adopt me for Christmas. It's like, oh, come to us and thing. But it's weird, you know? It's super uncomfortable because you see them super nice and whatever, and you're just like, what the fuck am I gonna do here? Like,
okay, sorry to interrupt you. Your best Christmas whilst you're in Mexico. Please tell us about your best Christmas in Mexico.
I don't remember.
Well, maybe the upcoming one.
that may be possible, but I don't remember. Like my best, excuse me. Because
what about your worst?
Many. Alone at home, like with no one, and you listen around. You listen around. People happy, people with music. You're alone, yeah. And as a party man that I was, I am still. You
yes, you are.
You text them. You text people. How are you? Want some drinks? Like, no, man, I'm with family. Like everyone has like family commitments, and I was like the only one who has no family around, and that was hard, and that's why I don't feel anything for Christmas right now. Like literally, for me, Christmas doesn't mean much because I don't have this sense of family either. I just feel like, oh, okay, it's like that. But little by little, well, and I don't have this attachment to anything, you know? Like, I finished uni, and at that point, I was already working in television because I realized that I was very good doing that talking more than nothing because I start as a presenter, and then I become a creator, a producer, I become a reporter in TV news. I finished uni with the best grades as well. I wasn't a mediocre student. I was the best. I don't know if I will be because I say it so many times to myself that I end up believing it, or because I was just good. Like I always had this imposter syndrome on me. Like even now in my job, like I think I'm good and the best, but then like they don't appreciate me, or they don't pay me enough, or people say like, oh, you are not a DOP, director of photography. Like who the fuck you know? How the fuck you know I'm not? Like people that haven't seen like many of my work, because I don't showcase most of my work online, because some things that I have done many years ago that I have lost track on it, television-wise. And television is not a fancy place to be either if you are with my background. Most of the people in television has rich families, they are white, and they're welcome anywhere. Not me. Like when I used to work in television in TV Azteca, you can feel like how I was like a second or third grade presenter. Like I wasn't not like the top. Not even because I was bad, was because I was brown. And my background was like these poor men. I wasn't even paid for being a presenter. I was paying for being a reporter, which that's the way I put like my foot in the door to that. And that was in Monterrey. That's why I leave TV, because I was like, what's the point of this? Like, I'm not making much money. Yeah, I'm making me slightly famous, but I cannot pay my bills with fame. I cannot pay my rent or food. Oh, look, I'm on TV, give me food. Which sometimes works, to be honest. In some places they give you food, but most of the places pay you with alcohol. That explains a lot. And yeah, I have been struggling a lot in trying to not think that I'm bad, like to believe to myself of what I am, what I do is well done. But I just coming here in the UK made me realize that I have been swimming against the stream of the river my whole life.
Oh, are you a salmon?
That's not a good thing. A fucking bear can come eat me, and I'm gonna die at the first time I have sex.
There's already a very beautiful bird here.
And it's hard. It's hard to find, because I realize I have ADHD, and I am dyslexic, and I'm suffering of depression right now. I'm suffering for anxiety, and I have issues controlling my substance consumption, like alcohol. If I start, I cannot stop, and it's so complicated to find value in yourself when you see so many things bad as well. It's like, well, who'd wanna be with me? And then it's become this loop of coming down and down, down. Yeah, whatever you feed, it's gonna. Yeah, whatever you feed is gonna grow. And as much as I want to feed the good things, like when you have bad seasons, when you are not in a good place, it's hard to find that. And that's when people rely on friends and family. But hello, I am an immigrant with no friends or not family for many years in this country.
Some of Santos' friends would be very offended now.
They don't give a shit, trust me. And like, some people don't understand, like having this support network around, so important. And some people doesn't have it. Like some people doesn't have anyone.
I think most immigrants don't have that.
No, all of them. Like that's something that people don't understand. You are changing everything of your life to go into another country, and people think that we do it because we really want to, or we do it because, oh yeah, let's live in other places fancy. It's made. Some people is crossing the fucking channel, risking their life.
Yeah.
Guess because of what? Because the conditions there are unbearable. Conditions there are things that you cannot imagine, because people in these countries, they're not used to that.
Nope.
Everything is, and it's not their fault.
UK has a comfortable lifestyle.
No, but everyone in these developed countries, like the good, like United States, France, most Europe, like the posh Europe, UK, like, and then as much as they say they don't understand, And then you see people crossing the border, like to United States, that go to your country, like, I will love to go back to my country, trust me. If my country were in shit, in opportunities. I say Mexico is the most amazing, beautiful place in the world. The people, there is bad people, there is bad government, there is no opportunities. You can be the best at what you do in Mexico, you will never gonna make it anyway. And that's horrible.
Would you ever want to become a politician?
I would love to be a politician. I would love to show the people that something can be done. Sadly, the system is so rigged right now. There is no way to break through that because you're gonna be stopped. Because people in power don't want other people seizing that power from them. So it's a perpetuation. It's like education. In countries when like the government control education, they're gonna keep their people in a certain way of education. That's why it's no economic or money administration courses anywhere in a basic education. Because the most stupid you are with money, the more easy you give it away. And obviously the people with money know that. Banks know that. And that's sad. However, being an immigrant is a huge, huge sacrifice that people think we do it for fun. I do it like challenge my lifestyle, challenge my conditions. I live, and I remember when I lived in Mexico, I'd rather be poor in Europe than be poor in Mexico. Now that I'm struggling with money here, I think maybe I'd rather not be poor anywhere. I'd rather not be poor in any place. I'd rather have money. But at least being poor here is like being rich in Mexico. Like my level of economic right now is not good, but it's still better than the 80% of the Mexican population.
You've got a nice roof over your head.
A nice roof, a beautiful fiance. I have like all this equipment where I create content. And funny enough, if we take all this equipment to Mexico and say, okay, I have this talent, I'm good doing this, exists a very high possibility that I will not get any client willing to pay what is the real price for this.
Would you say you're more likely to be robbed of your equipment in Mexico?
Oh yeah. It's most likely to be robbed in the street. And it's a shame that I'm not confident enough to be with you in Mexico as a pretty tall, blonde, white woman in public transport. People will think, oh, white people, they have money, they take them. Why? I don't know, they should have money. We don't. Like, no. And it's shit. But for other side, it's like, what really matters? What really is important in your life? How much money you need to be happy, or how much objects you need to be happy? In Mexico, you used to be happy with nothing. With nothing.
Yeah, that's why I find you very refreshing. Because, for example, I grew up being told that if I have this, if I have a very good education, if I have a good job, if I earn enough money, this will be happiness. But then you've shown me ways, and you've shown me yourself that you can be happy with the bare minimum, and it's just a state of mind. But I think in most Western cultures, you're always given goals, and achieving those goals, you're always told that this will give you happiness, but that's not always the case.
Being the best is not necessary to be happy. Being the top one of everything is not necessary to be happy. Happiness, you achieve it day to day. And happiness comes and goes. Peace is important. Being able to come home to a warm house with your family welcoming you, your partner welcoming you, a nice meal, watching a nice movie. These little moments give you peace. Having someone that understands you. I know it's not even necessary that. If you live alone, but you find peace in living alone, that's great. You have a cat, that's great.
Hey, let's not discriminate. You have a dog, that's great.
We love our cat, Neo. It's very lovely cat. And at the same time, it's like, you are not your work. You are not your day-to-day task in an office behind a computer. And some people think that the most they work, the more happy they will be. And that is not. Some people live working in jobs that they are miserable. For what? Wasting time again from their kids. I mean, and at work you are replaceable.
Or there are people who are, serving us in Tesco at the till, and they are so happy and they love what they do.
Yeah,
because that makes them happy. That makes them feel fulfilled.
Yeah, and that's the point. Like, find something that you love and do it, and let that kill you at least. Because we're all gonna die. We're gonna die one way or another, and it's an irrefutable fact. At least let's die in our own way. That is the important part. Your boss is not your friend. As much as maybe you say I have the best boss in the world, if you die tomorrow, you will be replaced. You know where you cannot be replaced? At home. No one can replace a dad. No one can replace a kid, a son, a wife, a brother.
But you learn to live with the lack of them.
Yes, but at work, they say, oh, that person used to work here, but died. We have another one. Boom. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And that's it. I see so much people trying to work extra hours for nothing. Some people try and pretend that they are busy doing something to look like they earn their salary. Like, no. Like, I am totally open to say, I have nothing to do. I don't do nothing. That's okay. I know you're gonna do things for me, for myself. Sometimes, I think it's important to come back, ground yourself, and think on who you are, what are you doing, and how far have you come? So far have you changed? And people don't understand.
Do a little check-in. This is what I have achieved. This is what's good about me.
Yeah,
this is what I'm grateful for.
I used to eat like food that was off because I don't have no money. My house was made of like used dirt, and little wood, and cardboard on top. Like, and now I live in London, not in the most opulent way, but I live here and I manage to travel around the world. And people think in the other way. You are traveling around the world. You have a lot of money. No, we're in debt right now for that. But at the same time, we don't go to spend thousands of pounds there. We just try to live in a comfortable way that we can afford, and to not die in the race rat of working 9 to 5 for someone else. Sadly, people from underdeveloped countries have no idea how to manage their money or manage their lives. And they get used to the minimum. I think in this country and in many countries, people don't value the immigrants, like Brexit. Here, like, they're taking our jobs. No one is taking your jobs, man. You leave them there unaware, and someone took them for you. Because a gardener, a waiter, you don't want that job. Like, because trust me, immigrants, we are not getting CEO positions. We are not getting like super management positions. Yeah, some of us get them. But you know how complicated, like,
It takes years.
We need to work 3 times harder to get 1/4 of the way of people from other countries who are up here, the white people even. Because they think, oh no, people is not racist. Trust me, people it is. Still.
Yeah, no, people are actually racist. Like, I have witnessed racism with you. Like, I have never witnessed racism before.
Because you're white, you haven't seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
This moment you see me, it's like...
You actually don't realize, since we got together, it's like, visa check. What are you doing in this country? What do you do for work? Where have you been? But what have you been doing there? And like, you always get questioned at the airports. And somehow you're the random person that they need to search every single time.
Yeah, I'm very lucky in random searches.
Very, very lucky.
I hope I was like that in the lottery, you know? Like, oh, I randomly won the lottery.
Yay.
Yeah, it's not like that. No. Only random checks in airports, that's what I get. Nothing more like that. That's why I want to start this as a podcast. And I want to start interviewing immigrants. Like, but not famous immigrants, not famous that they succeed. I want to interview every immigrant because I think all of them are important. People who work in a bar, people who is really fighting. People who doesn't have it easy, people who doesn't have these circumstances made up for them, people who doesn't even have family around here, or people who needed to move his first and then bring their family because they various opportunities. And we love this place. I love the UK. What I don't love is the way people is treated sometimes. And this becomes an issue when people get for granted that you're gonna have certain behaviors or certain way to live, or you're a dirty person, or you're a savage, or oh yeah, Mexico, oh yeah, do you have drugs? It's like, mate, not all the Mexican has drugs. But I may have it, yes, but that doesn't mean that Mexico. We are told all the time that we don't deserve that we have, we should be grateful to be here, which is okay, we can be grateful to be here. But at the same time, we would like to have the same opportunities as another. You know, people say, oh yeah, we give opportunities to anyone. Like, no, as soon you look at me, like your mood change when you go to jobs interviews. Like,
Yeah, see, it makes my mood change.
And yeah, what's the point? That's the point. That's when I want to start doing these podcasts. I want to start interviewing immigrants, but not just the famous ones. I want to interview immigrants in every background, every part that they are just have a story to tell. Trust me, we all have a story to tell.
Yep.
And I think the issue is like no one listen to those real stories. No one listen to those stories. I want to make people aware that we exist. We are here, and this place is actually moved because of us. We are the cheap labor. We are the carer to look after the grandmas, the disabled people, the people who is moving the beans.
The housekeepers that make your house clean.
People who is attending you in every Costa coffee, you know? Like
that guy that misspelled your name in Starbucks has a story.
Yeah, and you know how many times I feel ashamed that I don't know how to pronounce things? Like afraid of my accent? That because I don't feel it now because I don't listen to myself in that way. When I record myself, then I listen to me like I have a horrible fucking accent. I hate it. And I used to be a very good TV presenter in Mexico in Spanish. I don't have the balls to do it here because I feel like I'm just gonna embarrass myself. I just feel that I'm not good enough. And that happens all the time. And I think this emotion comes and goes, but never disappears. You know, like all the time feeling that I am not good enough because you are not getting what you deserve. Like salary, like recognition, like inclusion. Like they do inclusion days or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't want you to look at me once or the Black History Month or like, yeah, I don't want 1 month. Like I'm Black the whole year, you know? Like I'm Black 24/7. I'm Mexican 24/7. Like, I don't want you to become a place, a Mexican restaurant either. It's like, just respect me and treat me as a human. It's the only thing that I want. Don't tell me anything else. Just respect me and treat me as a human. I have the same capabilities and values than anyone else. But sometimes people don't see that, and people judge you because you misspelled something, or you mispronounce something, or I change a lot feminine, no, plural to singular or feminine to masculine.
Yeah, sometimes Santos calls me a he. I don't mind.
But that's the point, and that's it. And I'm gonna be maybe looking for new topics to talk about by myself regarding all my path in life, because I have done so many things, and will be interesting for someone maybe there who has lived or is in certain conditions, certain situation, to listen from someone that have lived that kind of experiences as well, because
it can be quite uplifting to know that somebody, you know, that you're not the only person that is struggling. I think a lot of people are struggling with mental health, and you know, everybody feels the same way. We have ups and downs, and sometimes it's just nice to hear a voice that you can relate to.
Yeah, and be sure that you are not alone. Trust me, you are not alone. Someone else, somewhere in the world is experiencing the same, or maybe someone experiencing that. And I think if we share this knowledge, we're gonna be helping. And if only one person gets benefit from this, that's more than enough. At least one life helped is good. Share this if you want. And if it's not, don't do it. It's fine. I don't care.